Tony is my eldest son, Antonio Salvatore Servidio. He got both those names from my ex-husband's father and then my father. So, nice Irish name, right?
Yes, proudly.
Well, I'm really excited for it. He's worked so hard on it, and I'm sure it's going to be great. I've just seen little segments, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the 35 or 40-minute short movie, and looking forward to having him make a regular movie and get investors. And it's very exciting because my grandfather was one of the first theater owners in California, and so my family's been involved with the show business, and there's no business like show business. So good luck, Tony, right?
Yes.
These are my friends,
Yes.
Angela,
We are proud
and
of
Tracy,
him.
and Sita.
Yeah,
We're very
Yes.
proud of him and
Very
excited.
proud of Toad.
Thank you. Cut. Oh, I have quite a few stories. One time we were just checking out at the grocery store, and the checker was weighing things, and Tony wanted to climb up on there and get on the scale to see how much he was worth. And then another time we were at, he's always been like a leader in Pacific Grove, on the little Pacific Grove beach there. He started collecting seaweed, and like 10 minutes later he had about 20 kids working for him. Compiling this big huge mound of seaweed. And he's always been a very good salesman too. When the kids sold candy bars, he came back with like double the amount of money, and I said, "Did you get more candy bars?" And he goes, "No, I made some money, and I extra money." But I said, "No, Tony, you're going to have to turn that into the teacher." But he's always been a, entrepreneur and leader, and great guy. Yeah, I think he's perfect. He's tall, he's handsome, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this premiere tonight.
I am Michelle Gallegos, and I know Tony. I used to work for him. Started probably about 12 and a half years ago. Freshly 18 years old out of high school, and my first show that I ever did it with him was Andre Nicotina, and I just remember being super nervous and excited at the same time and getting into this really crazy industry. And I remember my first day being like at the actual office. I didn't really know what he wanted to exactly do, and he's just like, "Help me organize all my contacts. I have all these numbers with artists and their managers and this person and that person." And I just remember going into that place and seeing all these business cards just like sprawled out everywhere. It took me, I think, about 4 days to finally just get the contacts in position to like where they needed to be. And that was like being there all day long, not just like a couple hours a day, like all day long getting into it. But it was a fun gig that I did for a few years, and he's like been one of my best friends and like a big brother to me for forever, so it was good. There's this one night we were out partying, probably a little bit too harder than we should have been, and everyone parted their ways. And then he called me, I don't know what time it was in the morning. He wasn't feeling so hot, and he would just maybe drink a little bit too much more than he should have. I don't remember what he was saying to me exactly, but he was like freaking out, and I'm like, all right, I'll come over to wherever you're at. So I'm like driving up and down the street trying to figure out where the hell he's at, and I find him like a block away from his house with like a spatula in his hand, just like walking up and down, no shoes, no nothing. Took him to this place called Bully's that was down the street to like finally feed him and like try to sober him up, and it was just kind of a wild night that night, but it was fun. That's just like one of many, but that's kind of more of the censored one that I can give you. Not get him in too much trouble. I loved it. It made me very proud of him, but also at the same time, like, kind of sad just because I've been there since 2003, like seeing him go through all of this. So every part of the movie, I'm like, okay, I remember this, I remember that, and I knew exactly who was playing who in the movie. So it just kind of made me sad to like see all of that go through it, because I just remember like talking to him on the phone or getting text messages from him and like hearing and reading everything that was going on. Like it was just a very hard time for him in his life, and to be so close to someone like that who I've considered to be a big brother for me, it's hard to just kind of relive through all of that and know that he didn't deserve a lot of what had happened, because he was doing his thing and being, making an honest living, and it just kind of sucked to see that a little bit. But I'm very proud of him now, because he's doing it. He's doing big things for himself, so it's good. It's pretty accurate, I'd say. There was a lot of stuff I feel that maybe wasn't shown that I feel like I kind of wanted to see in the movie, and I'm sure that others did, like as far as when it came to all of the concerts and that whole lifestyle. Like I wanted to see maybe a little bit more of that, but as far as what was portrayed in the movie, that was definitely down to a T. And G-EAZY did a good job of losing his temper on the phone, calling the lawyer on that part. So it was a pretty good job. So thumbs up. Did a great job. I mean, I honestly didn't know who he was. I'm sorry, but I think that he did a pretty good job of portraying who he was, and just the way that he handled himself in it was great. In 3 years, I'd like to see him making this into more, because people are so interested in his life, and there's so many different details that they could expand this on, whether it's like a full-on movie or a TV series, which I know that we had spoken about that earlier tonight. But I think that would be really awesome, because there's so many things that people don't know about that I feel like people would like to see. So I see him moving on to bigger things from this.